Manor Castle.
My Lords, I rise to speak very briefly in favour of F1 in the name of the noble and learned Lord Thomas of Scangeath, and I thank the noble and learned Lord for his strong and determined pursuit on this issue over the many stages of this bill. Excuse me. And I join the noble Lord Adonis in hoping very much that we will see our opposition frontbenchers supporting this amendment and pushing forward with it, because I'm referring to many of the same issues that I raised in B Group, that we are talking here about local control, local prioritising, as both noble Lords Adonis and Liddell have said before me. What this bill does without this amendment is it takes away control from devolved administrations. It takes away financial control. It takes away money. Money is power. We know that, my Lords. And I think it was in the original committee stage of this debate that I raised the phrase pork barrelling, which has kept reappearing again and again. This is heading towards an American-style politics, and I think we've got many reasons to see why we don't wish to head into the direction of an American-style politics. And so what does this mean in practice? If you have, for example, as we do, an administration in Westminster that's keen on building new roads, even though they just create more air pollution and new traffic, if they're keen on airport expansion, if they're not keen on spending on nature, then that priority is forced on local devolved administrations. Now, I am actually going to slightly disagree with the noble Lord Liddell in that he was holding up as the model local enterprise partnerships and the previous model under the coalition government, because business and elected people is one partnership, but I'd like to see something much broader, something that takes in all elements of a local community. I think now I've been seeing a great rise of enthusiasm across very many parts of government for deliberative democracy, for the climate assembly type of approach, the People's Assembly, the chance to get representative groups of people, bring them together and make decisions. And that's something that I think, seeing the rise in enthusiasm for this, I would very much like to have seen written in this bill and will perhaps be pursuing in the future. But I want to come back to the point I raised in the last amendment about the issue of coercive control, the issues raised by the Domestic Abuse Bill. And that very explicitly looks at financial control as being in the way in which people within households exercise unequal control. And I hope your Lordship's House would agree that, an ideal household we would think of would be one where everyone has a say in the spending of the financial resources of that household. Everyone has a real chance to have their say. And I share, and I'd be interested in the noble and learned Lord's comments on this with what Lord Adonis said about this simply being on consultation. I think I would agree with him that it would seem we should have the word consent here in this amendment. We are talking about democracy, we are talking about people having their say, we're talking about how we would like to see our countries, our nations run.